Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Narayanam Padma Bhuvam Vasishtham Shaktincha Tatputra Parasharancha Vyasam Shukham Gauda Padam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra Mathasya Sishyam Shri Shankaracharya Mathasya Padma Padancha Hasta Malakancha Shishyam Tam Totakam Vartika Karamanyan Asmad Gurun Santatamanatosmi. So in Viveka Chudamani, we are seeing the Sthula Prapancha. The Sishya asked, what is Atma and what is Anatma, and how to discriminate between Atma and Anatma. That was the student's question. And Acharya started answering what is Anatma first. He first said all the universe, everything in this universe, everything in this prapancham is made up of panchabhutas, and panchabhutas are not atma. So all the external things that are surrounding us are anatma, the acharya said as the first step. He did not stop there. He said, your body is also made up of panchabhutas. Just like how the external world is made up of panchabhutas, your physical body, your sthula shariram, is also made up of panchabhutas. Do you accept? Asked the Guru. The Sishya said, okay, I accept innocently. But the Guru puts the next question. Hey, if the external universe, which is made up of Panchabhutas, is considered Anatma, if you consider the external universe, which is made up of the Panchabhutas as Anatma, then what about your own body? Your physical body is also made up of Panchabhutas. If the external universe is Anatma, then your physical body should also be Anatma. The Guru asked, the poor Sishya does not have any other way except to accept Guru's statement. Now the Sishya accepts that his body is also Anatma. Now the Guru says, your body is Anatma, the external world is Anatma, your body has got receptors, which are sense organs, which receives pain and pleasure from the external world. The receptor is Anatma, the signal is also Anatma. Then what should you do? You should not give undue importance to the receptor and the signal. Meaning, you should not give undue importance to your body and the vishayas, meaning sense objects. So, my body is the receptor of sense objects. The sense objects are, various sense objects, that are present out there, like a nice gulab jamun to eat, nice art to look at, nice music to hear. Those are all sense objects. My body is the sense organ. Both the sense organ and the sense objects, both of them are anatmas. So you should not give more importance to that pair, because both of them are anatmas. And what you are after? You are after Paramatma. So don't give undue importance to the sense objects. The sense objects here are technically called as Vishayaha. So don't give undue importance to the Vishayas, says the Guru. He actually said in multiple different verses, he says, all the Vishayas, the sense objects, are even more dangerous than the visha, the poison of a snake. Why? Because snake's poison will harm you only if you ingest the poison, but the Vishayas are going to harm you just by you looking at them, the Vishayas are going to harm you. Like that, Shankaracharya gave a lot of shlokas, and then he finished that topic with the shloka, which is Mokshasya Kanksha Yadi Vaitavasti त्यजाति दूराद विषयान विषम यथा पीयूषवत्तोषदयाक्षमार्जव प्रशांति दान्दिहि भज नित्यमादरात्. He says त्यजाति दूराद vishayan vishamyata. Vishayan, sense objects, or the sense objects have to be tyajati. Tyajati means have to be sacrificed. Like you don't have to go after the vishayaha. Like what? Like vishamyatha. As if all the vishayas are poison, how you will have an ashushi, how you will have a dispassion towards a poison, how you would always try to avoid in being in contact with poison. Here Acharya says, please avoid your contact or your dependence on the sense objects. Acharya says. He also says, Piyushavat Tosha Daya Kshama Arjava Prashantitan Prashanti Dhantihi Bhaja. He says, he gives a list of Atma Gunaha, qualities to be developed: contentment, sympathy, forgiveness, straightforwardness, calmness, and self control. Instead of going after the sense objects, please develop all these things. Acharya says, and then now he is going to move on to next topic, but we are not going to move on to the next topic. We have a very big problem in front of us. What is the problem? The problem, Acharya says, do not go after sense objects. But here he does not give you how can I avoid it, because if it is like a cell phone, I can turn on the airplane mode on my cell phone so that no external contact can be, no external signal can contact my cell phone. But our body is not a cell phone. I cannot keep on closing my eyes so that so that my eyes are not in contact with the sense objects. I cannot keep on closing my ears so that my ears cannot contact its sense objects. I cannot close my skin so that my skin is not going to be in contact with the sense objects. It is going to be a problem. How to solve the problem? That is where we are going to see. And before going to see this, we have to see some key aspects that are being told in Bhagavad Gita in related to this subject. Whatever we are seeing, we'll always come back to Bhagavad Gita. And in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, Krishna elaborately talks about the sense objects. There is a part in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita called as Sthita Prajna. Arjuna asks Krishna, hey Krishna, who is a Sthita Prajna? How do they behave themselves? And for that, Krishna gives the shloka as an answer. What is the answer? Yada samharate chayam kurmonganiva sarvashaha इंद्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. His prajna will be nice, well established, says Krishna. He is going to be a sthita prajna, says Krishna. Who is going to be a sthita prajna? Yata samharate chayam kurmongani va sarvashaha indriyani indriyarthebhyaha. Just like how, during the time of distress, a tortoise will pull all of its 5 limbs into the hard shell. We all have seen tortoise, at least in pictures. Tortoise will have a hard shell and it has a head coming out, 2 hands and 2 legs, or 2 forelegs and 2 hind legs coming out. So there are 5 limbs of tortoise that comes out of the hard shell. And if the tortoise smell any danger, what does the tortoise do? It actually withdraws all of its 5 limbs into its shell. And Krishna says, just like how a tortoise withdraws all of its 5 limbs into its shell, that person who withdraws all of his 5 sense organs upon himself, 5 sense organs onto himself, that person is called as Sthita Prajna, says Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. And what does Acharya says in Viveka Chudamani? He is exactly saying the same things. Do not let your sense organs go uncontrolled. Always have mastery over your sense organs. And the same example is being given by Thiruvalluvar in Tirukkural as well. ஒருமையுள் ஆமை போல் ஐந்தடக்கலாற்றின் எழுமையும் ஏமா புடைத்து, சேஸ் திருவள்ளுவர் in திருக்குறள். ஒருமையுள் ஆமை போல், ஆமை tortoise. ஒருமையுள், just like how tortoise withdraws its sense, and ஐந்தடக்கலாற்றின், if we do that, if we withdraw all our 5 senses onto ourselves, what is it going to do? எழுமையும் ஏமா புடைத்து, for all the 7 janmas, it is going to benefit you, says Thiruvalluvar in the Tirukkural. He gives the same example. And Krishna does not stop with the shloka. It is the next shloka where Krishna gives a very, very important thing. What does the next shloka, what is he telling? Let us see that shloka first. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya parandrishtva nivartate. Okay, assume that a person who comes to Viveka Chudamani class, he actually understood what Acharya says. Okay, shun all of your sense organs. Okay, so this person has decided, I am going to shun all of my sense organ. He goes into the room, he locks the room, he turns off all the light, because light is a vishaya for his eyes, right? So he turns off his light. He is basically sitting in isolation. For how much time do you think he can sit like that? Not even for a minute, because he is going to be hungry, right? Even if he likes or not, he has to eat. So he is going to always be thinking about his food, and he is going to have a family. He'll be thinking about his wife, or she will be thinking about her husband, kids, parents, and worse than that, he will always be thinking about the Vishaya. At least when he is enjoying those Vishayas, he will be thinking about food, just half an hour before eating. If I'm leading a normal life, I will be thinking about my food at what time? Just at my lunch time, at breakfast time, or during dinner time. I'm not going to think about my food for 24/7. But a person who wants to control all his senses, say a person is doing a Ekadashi Vratam. There is a good story. A monkey observing an Ekadashi Vratam. This is a very good story, a funny story. Apparently, there was a monkey, which, in those days, people have all these classes in ashramas, right, in a natural setting. And there was a monkey. And the guru was teaching the student, hey, if you want to go to Vaikunta, you have to observe Ekadashi Vratam. Say, observe Ekadashi Vratam continuously for 12 years. You can easily go to Vaikunta. The Guru says to Shishya, and this monkey overheard that statement, and this monkey has done some punyam, so this monkey now wanted to go to Vaikunta. It is better than going to a cinema theater, but the monkey wanted to go to Vaikunta, and the monkey, because it is, going here and there in the ashram and all, the monkey knows when is Ekadashi. So Ekadashi day came. The monkey knows, okay, it has to not, it should not eat on this day. So the monkey sat in this meditation posture, and the monkey started meditating. Normal days, the monkey will not think about banana unless it gets hungry. I get hungry, I go to a tree, I take a banana, I eat, and then I forget about my food for next 2 or 3 hours. For the next time, until next time I'm getting hungry. But what does this monkey doing right now? This monkey is sitting in one place, and the monkey is hungry. So the monkey is now thinking about banana. you know it is even worse than during normal time. When you try to suppress your desires, it is going to be worse than enjoying those desires, because when you are enjoying those desires, you will be thinking about those desires only while enjoying. But if you are trying to suppress those desires, you will be keep on thinking about those desires all the time. So the result is absolutely negative. And that is what Krishna says in this shloka. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. If you want to control your senses, hey Arjuna, if you want to suppress your senses, the effect are going to be disastrous. So don't suppress your need for sense objects, but rather what do? Param drishtva nivartate. If you understand why those desires have to be suppressed or regulated, if you understand the problems associated with the sense objects, those desire to enjoy all the sense objects will go away by themselves. It is like a kid playing with a balloon. 1 year old kid, 2 year old kid, even if you give the kid a golden coin and a balloon, the kid will always going to choose a balloon. But when the kid grows up, it not only grows up in age, it also develops some maturity. So the kid is not going to hate the balloon. The same kid will grow out of the balloon. A 20-year-old person, when he was 2 year old, the person was the same, the balloon was the same, but he held the balloon so tightly. But as the time went by, as time goes by, the person is not changing. The balloon is also not changing. But what happens? He just grows out of his desires to use the balloon, to play with the balloon. Krishna says that is how your relationship with your sense objects should be. You should not hate your sense objects. You should not try to shun your sense objects. But what you should do, you should try to grow out of sense objects. So if you try to grow out of sense objects, you will not going to long for the sense objects when they are unavailable. Just like how a 20-year-old person, if there is a balloon, he will have that balloon in his hand. If that balloon goes away, he is not going to cry just like a 1 or 2 year old kid would do when somebody takes the balloon out of its hand. So Krishna, it's a very important shloka in Bhagavad Gita that we all have to follow. Don't try to hate your sense organs. Don't try to suppress your desires for sense objects, but rather regulate your sense organs. Rather try to grow out of your desires for those sense objects. So in order to do that, there are several ways. I'm quoting three important or three major ways. These have been collected from various sources like Bhagavad Gita or from, different Upanishads. I've just pooled those three things together and I'm presenting here. So we can either try, one of the three or maybe all of the three in order to decrease our dependence towards the sense objects. What is the first way? The first way is Ishwararpana Buddhi. Ishvara is Bhagavan. Arpanam is dedication. Ishwararpana Buddhi mean whatever pleasure I get, I dedicate that pleasure to Bhagavan. Whatever sense objects that I enjoy, I dedicate that enjoyment to Bhagavan. That is called as Ishwararpana Buddhi. We all know the shloka. Kayena vacha manasendriyairva buddhyatvana va prakrite swabhavat karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai Narayanaayeti samarpayami. What does it say? Kayena, vacha, manase, indriyairva, buddhyatmanava, prakrite swabhavat. Whatever thing I am doing, whatever thing I am enjoying with my body, with my mouth, meaning my words, with my manas, my mind, with my indriyas, my sense organs, with my buddhi, my intellect, everything Narayana eti samarpayami. I dedicate unto Bhagavan Narayana. We say, and there is also the shloka. Atma tvam girijamati sahacharah prana shariram griham पूजाते विषयोपभोगरचना निद्रा समाधिस्थितिः सञ्चारः पदयोर्प्रदक्षिणविधिः स्तोत्राणि सर्वागिरो यद्यत् कर्म करोमि तत्तदखिलं शम्भो तवाराधनं यद्यत् कर्म करोमि तत्तत् अखिलं शम्भो तवाराधनं whatever karma I am doing, he Shambho, everything is tava aradhanam. Everything is a puja for you. How does he say? Atma tvam girija matihi sahachara prana shariram griham. Atma, my own self, my jivatma is none other than tvam, is none other than you, hey Parameshwara. Girija matihi, my intellect. Who is my intellect? My intellect is Parvati Devi. Sahacharaf prana, all the Shiva Ganas are all the Pancha Pranas and totally Shariram Griham. My entire body is your house. My entire Shariram is your Griham. Pujate Vishayopabhoga Rachana. Whatever Vishayas I involve in, everything is your puja. In puja, we give food to Bhagavan. So whatever food I eat is Bhagavan's Nevedyam. In puja, we say Geetam Shravayami. We say in puja, people sing, right? So whatever music I hear, that is the music that Bhagavan hears. Whatever, even sleep, Nidra Samadhi Sthitihi, even when I sleep, it is going to be equivalent to Samadhi. Sanchara Padayor Pradakshana Vidihi. Whatever, wherever I walk, take that as a pradakshinam for you. Stotrani sarvagiro. Whatever thing I am going to speak, please accept everything as a stotra for you. In the end, yadyat karma karomi tattadakilam shambhu tavaradhanam. Whatever the thing I enjoy, please take that as a aradhanam for you. We have this shloka. And then we have another shloka in Saundarya Lahari. Japojalpashilpam sakalamapi mudra virachana gadi pradakshinyakramanamashana dhyahuti vidihi pranamas samvesha sukhamakhilam atmarpanadrisha saparya paryayaha tava bhavatu yanme vilasitam saparya paryayaha tava bhavatu. What? Japo jalpaha shilpam. Whatever the thing I blabber, please take all those things as a stotram to Bhagavan. Hey Ambal, whatever the thing that comes out of my mouth, please accept that as your stotram. Sakalamapi mudra virachana. Whatever the thing I do with my hand, please accept that as a mudra for you. Gatif pradakshinya kramanam. Wherever I go, please accept that as a pradakshanam to you. Ashanadhyahuti vidhihi. Whatever the thing I eat, please accept that as an ahuti for you. Pranama samvesha sukham akilam atmarpanadrisha. Sukham akilam atmarpanadrisha. So whatever the thing I enjoy, please take that as an upacharam for you. So that is called as Ishwararpana Buddhi. We still enjoy the sense objects, but what do? We are enjoying the sense objects not for ourselves, but as an upacharam for Bhagavan. So that is the first step. You can use this as the first step in decreasing your dependence on those sense objects. Because an important corollary then comes. What is that? Mahaperiyawal says in Devathin Kural, if whatever I eat, if we truly believe whatever I eat is going to be an ahuti for Ambar, then what will I do? I always watch what I eat. I'm not going to eat, whatever, some unwanted things, because I'm not going to do nevedyam of those things to Amba. I will only eat those things which I put in my puja room, which I normally do nevedyam to Amba. Only those things I will be eating. And whatever the things I see, if I truly believe that whatever the things I see are going to be an upacharam for Ambar, then I'm not going to see all the unwanted things, because we won't show all those things to Ambar, right? So it has an added advantage that first you are doing arpanam, you are dedicating everything to Bhagavan, and two, because of Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, we will decrease all our unethical and unwanted pleasures from the sense objects. So that is the first way by which we can regulate our sense objects. Ishwararpana Buddhi. The second way is doing acharanam of Shastra. Just follow Shastra. Why follow Shastra? We have seen this elaborately in Shraddha. Shastra, Shashanat Trayate iti Shastra. I have a firm belief that the Shastras are Bhagavan's words, and Shastras are there in order to protect me. That is why I follow Shastra. What does the Shastra say? In Dhanurmasam, wake up and take bath before sunrise. So all your attachment for sleep will go away if you follow that for 1 month. Dhanurmasam is Margari Masam that is going to come. This is Kartigai. So next month is from December 15 to January 15 is Margari. So whoever has got problems sleeping, what do they try to do? They should at least wake up early in the morning before sunrise during the month of Margari. So if they do that practice for 1 month, it is going to be their nature. And for some people who really loves to enjoy food, they can follow vratams like Ekadashi Vratam or Pradosha Vratam or Somavara Vratam, so that they can decrease their dependence on food for their happiness. If their mind is so much wavering, they can take a mantra japa like panchakshari, or there are lot of mantra japas, so they can take the ishta mantra japas if their mind is so wandering, so that doing japa of those mantras will also help regulating their mind in order to decrease their dependence on sense pleasures. And if a person has got lot of time and if person is retired, they can try to follow the timetable given by Shastra. Shastra has given a very, very rigid timetable. If I tell you that, then we won't have any time for anything, not for watching any serials, not for cooking elaborately to eat Panchabhaksha Paramanam. There won't be any time left for any Vishayas if anybody follows the timetable given by Shastras. Brahme Muhurte Uttaya, person has to get up during Brahma Muhurtam. After getting up, he should take bath. And this bath is not like 5 minutes bath that we all do, not kaka kuliyal. And in order to take bath, one has to do an elaborate sankalpam. And the person has to do sankalpam for taking bath. And while taking bath, he has to do Veda Parayanam. There is Veda Parayanam for, just he should stand in the river just up to his knees chanting some mantras. And then, just till his nabi, there are mantras. And then in order to mulku podrathu, in order to completely immerse in the water, he has to chant mantras. In order to take off his old clothes, there is a mantra. In order to wear new veshti, there is a mantra. So we do all those things just for taking bath. And after taking bath, one has to do snanam, sandhya vandanam, japam, Gayatri japam is there, and then homam. One has to do aupasanam or agnihotram, and then devatarchanam. One has to do puja to Bhagavan. By the time devatarchanam happens, it will be 12 o'clock. And after 12 o'clock, he has to do Madhyanikam, he has to do Brahma Yajnam, he has to do Vaishwadevam, everything. And by the time all those afternoon duties are over, it will be 4 o'clock. And from 4 to 6, he can take rest. And then from 6 o'clock again, he has to do Sandhya Vandanam, he has to do Sayam Upasanam, and then he has to do Agnihotram. So all those things will continue. Here my wife is sitting in front of me and she is asking, what about food? He has to finish the food in whatever the time that is left, in between doing all those karmas. So Shastra gives a very, very rigid time scale, timetable to follow. If we follow the timetable given by Shastra, we honestly won't have any time for any sense pleasures. So we can follow Shastra. That is the second way of decreasing your dependence on sense pleasures. And really, the third one is called as dosha darshanam. So this is for, I'm not going to say intelligent people, but this is for those people who tend more towards logical thinking and logical reasoning. And we have seen these 3 points before. So whatever the sense pleasures that we get, they always are associated with the following 3 doshas, 3 disadvantages or 3 problems. What are those 3 problems? Dukkha mishritatvam, atriptikaratvam, and bandhakatvam. These are the 3 doshas or 3 problems that are associated with any anatma vastus, with any sense objects. These 3 doshas are going to be there. Let us give you an example. Let us take our favorite gulab jamun example. Dukkha mishritatvam. If I want to eat a very good gulab jamun, then I have to work for it. I have to get gulab jamun instant mix. Even if I have an instant mix, I have to get the mix. I have to prepare gulab jamun. I have to soak it. For the 2 hours, I will be drooling. Gulab jamun will be there in front of me, but I cannot eat it. So all those things are pain that are associated with eating a gulab jamun. Dukkha mishritatvam. The second problem is atripti karatvam. What is atripti karatvam? Even I make gulab jamun, and if I eat that gulab jamun, I won't be satisfied because When during Deepavali in 1995, my mother made that gulab jamun that was so soft, and now I'm making this gulab jamun. This is not as soft as what my mother used to make. That is unsatisfying, atripti karatvam. And the third dosha is bandhakatvam, meaning we will be addicted towards deriving pleasure from that object. Okay, I'm addicted towards deriving pleasure. We think that there is no problem, but there is a problem because all the sense objects are anatmas, they are temporary, so they are going to go one day. Even you voluntarily leave that, or the doctor is going to come and say to you, hey, you are having diabetes, don't eat gulab jamun. But I am addicted to gulab jamun, my doctor says don't eat gulab jamun. So that is another problem associated with gulab jamun. So these three problems are not only there for gulab jamun, but for any sense pleasures: dukkha mishritatvam, atriptikaratvam, and bandhakatvam. So, if we want to grow out of any sense objects, if we want to grow out of any sense pleasures, we can think of all the three doshas associated with that sense object, with that sense pleasures, so we can logically grow out of that sense object or pleasure. So these are the three ways by which the dependence upon sense objects, the dependence upon sense pleasures can be decreased. So these things Viveka Chudamani Acharya doesn't say, but it is taken from Acharya's words, in various Sutra Bhashyams, in Bhagavad Gita, etc. So that's what it is. And now coming back to Viveka Chudamani, so why does Bhagavan give us pluses with our body? All the question comes, I have body, I have all five sense organs. I didn't go and get these five sense organs. It is Bhagavan who blessed these sense organs to me. Right? So you give all those sense organs and then you say, do not use those sense organs to get pleasure. So, you must be sadistic. People say, right? Adi Shankaracharya has exactly read our mind, and that is why he gives you this shloka. Anukshanam yat parihritya krityam anadya vidya krita bandha mokshanam deha pararthoyamamushya poshane yes sajjate sasvamanena hamti dehaha pararthoyam amushya poshane. You have to do poshanam of your deha. You have to use your body, but for what? For parartha. Artha, purusharthas, four purusharthas are there: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. And of those four purusharthas, the parama purushartha, the highest goal is moksha. So what Acharya says, you have to use your body not for wasting on these little sense pleasures, but in order to get moksha. Come to Viveka Chudamani class, use your ears to listen to Viveka Chudamani, use your eyes in order to look at the Swarupam of Bhagavan, use your hands, in order to do puja for Bhagavan. It is for those reasons Bhagavan has given you your body, not to be wasted on all those temporary sense pleasures. So remember, when we have a child in home, we don't prevent child from using a knife. Here now, all the child developmental specialist says, don't not give knife to your child, but rather teach the child how to use the knife properly. So those are two different things. I prevent my child from using the knife, then the child will always have problem using the knife. So knife is essential. The art of using knife is essential for the child to grow, but you have to teach your child how to use it wisely. In the same way, we all are like a child to Bhagavan, and this body is like an equipment that Bhagavan has given us. We can use this body to go to waste in our sense objects, or to learn, to do puja, to do satkaryam in order to get moksha. So it is up to us whether we use the body to get hurt, or we use this body to go to the next level. In the same way, how a child can either use the knife in order to get hurt, or the child can use the knife in order to make a beautiful craft. But remember, as a mother, we always be looking at the child, and if the child misuses the knife, what do? We take away the knife from the child, right? In the same way, Bhagavan is always watching all of us from the sky. So Bhagavan is always watching us. If we are using this body properly, he is going to be happy. If we are misusing the body, then next Janma, what will Bhagavan think? Bhagavan think, hey, in the previous Janma, I have given him this body, he is not using it properly, so he is hurting himself. So let us not give Manushya Janma to this person. He can be a tree where he really cannot get hurt. So our body is a gift from Bhagavan. We have to use it wisely in order to get moksha, not to be wasted on temporary sense pleasures. So with this, I will finish today's class. पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ